Well, hey there, Bronco fans. It's Shad and Danny. Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Bronco Planet. Before we get going, talking about the Broncos, talking about what happened, talking about what's on our plate, Shad, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
And happy Thanksgiving to all of you folks out there that watch this show each and every week. With that being said, let's just get down to brass tacks. Shad, the Broncos right now back as the leader in the AFC West. Coming off a game that, once again, coming out of the blocks, you know, if the Denver Broncos were in a 100-yard sprint with Carl Lewis, where do you think they'd be coming out of the blocks in?
Well, they're really slow out of the gate there, Danny.
It's like you or me,
4
right?
games in a row where we just can't get more than a touchdown in the first quarter. So we definitely have some
folks,
work to do.
rewind these shows. What have we been harping about? This past month has been the slow, sluggish, molasses, maligned, vanilla start that the Denver Broncos have come out with in the first quarter.
Well, I think there's a little methodology to this one, though, that's a little different than the other ones. And first of all, let's give, how about an MVP for the team for a former Denver Bronco that really got him fired up, Mark Schlereth. Mm-hmm. You know, we get criticism that, hey, why are you guys so critical? But it took Mark Schlereth nationally on ESPN and some of those shows to talk about how poor the Broncos offensive was, how they weren't running the ball, to make the coaches, which is your job, turn it around and get these Broncos fired up. It was a passionate team, Danny. They came out. I thought they tried to establish the run early. That was clear, and maybe a little bit too much on that one side. But at the end of the day, that's the passion I want. I want to see Orlando Franklin fired up when he gets a penalty. I want to see some, you watch the Raven game this past week. I mean, those guys are so emotional. We finally got fired up. So kudos, offensive line. It's a shame that an all-pro former Bronco has to get you there.
You know what pisses
finally
me off?
We got there.
Here's what pisses me off: is it takes a national program that Mark Schlereth's a part of on something that we've been harping about, small potatoes, Bronco Planet, for a long, long time. But obviously, Denver answered the bell. You know, when you talk about the balance of the run and the balance of the pass, and let's just call a duck, Shad. The Denver Broncos were absolutely pitiful running the ball. Not so much up to this point, but pretty much. You can call it pitiful.
I mean, Hillman had a couple flashes here. We had 100-yard game. It was pretty
overall,
poor.
it was pretty piss poor. But the bottom line, at the end of the day, when you got a guy like C.J. Anderson, and let's just give him a Thanksgiving courtesy clap.
Way to go, C.J.
Holy crap, man. You know something? When you see performances like C.J. Anderson, and for you Ronnie Hillman lovers out there, I'm forgetting all about Ronnie Hillman. It's almost a distant memory. You see like a guy like Juwan Thompson, who we've been high on, who we've been preaching about all season, come in even as a second back.
6 yards per carry? Juwan?
Yeah, just 6 yards per carry. It's one of those things that needed to happen. Obviously, we were very glad to see it happen. A lot more balance in the play calling this past week. But it was just, it felt a lot better. Granted, running the ball for 6 yards, is that sexy? No.
Not sexy, but it's what you have to do. You then when you have to seal games later on, the weather's getting colder, you're going to have nasty weather perhaps in New England. You got to travel there. Sooner or later, you got to establish a run game. Mm-hmm. Best balanced game so far. Good job. Love to see Peyton Manning come back, bring his team back. Look sharp. Demaryius, unbelievable. 3 touchdowns. DT, you see the goofy stuff Des Bryant does, all this and in the camera, and then you see a good guy like Demaryius Thomas. So glad that we have DT.
He's
Virgil Green, so good to have him back. Like to see
all right, let's just
another courtesy clap.
Where are you going? Well, I'll tell you what.
I was on a roll.
I know, but here's another little thing to consider, something to ponder. 2 of the biggest things right now in the Broncos' plates, actually 3 being Chris Harris, is re-signing Demaryius Thomas, re-signing Julius Thomas, and re-signing Chris Harris, who arguably is probably the second most important signing on this team next to Demaryius. When you see a guy like Virgil come in, who is a true blocking tight end, this guy gets it. This guy wants to block. He wants to challenge somebody physically. Is it easier to teach a guy like Virgil Green how to be a prolific pass-catching, great blocking tight end, a la Shannon Sharp, or your high-profile touchdown catching tight end who can't block for crap.
Yeah, no, it's tough decisions, and it definitely will be weighing in how this plays out. Now, certainly, Virgil, I think, catches the ball pretty well. Right. He's just not at that Pro Bowl level from a receiving side.
But he's a guy who gets it, and a guy who's committed to it, and a guy that obviously had success last Sunday.
Yep, no, without a doubt. And the extra lineman gives them a little more help. Right. So I given the Broncos a B. Would have given him an A had Manning hit Sanders, who's on my fantasy team. Missed him on 3 touchdown potentials, overthrowing it, which you don't see Manning overthrowing. It's all about my fantasy team. But at the end of the day, glad to see DT have a big game. Would have liked to see the 100-yard streak continue. Sure. Missed that by 13 yards. But DT, great. Can't tell you how great Sanders is. Welker back in the mix. Gets a nice little run. So at the end of the day, Broncos offense, B. Well, give us a grade on the defense.
Before the defense, again, one more little side note as a statistical wow for me that really kind of hit me between the eyes. Again, C.J. Anderson, the guy is running angry. He is. I don't know what C.J. Anderson's yak score is, yards after contact, but it's got to be ridiculous. It's got to be up there with your Marshawn Lynch's. The guy is just so thick on the lower end, so to speak.
Yeah, not very tall guy, but stout, big. We've seen him a couple bowling charity events this year. Great guy. Always moving forward. That's the key, Dan. Always moving forward.
But yards after contact have got to be just absolutely ridiculous. 195 total yards between rushing and receiving. When you have a back all of a sudden putting up that kind of numbers, how much more important or how much more relevant is DT getting his, Sanders getting his, Julius Thomas getting his, Wes Welker getting his.
Balance, baby.
Balance, and quite frankly, that was the great point. So, let's shift those gears into defense, and it's not something that we've really talked about. Denver's had a pretty damn prolific defense, especially against the run all year. And we came into this game and just kind of went, what is going on with the Denver defense all of a sudden, Shaddy?
It's appropriate. D is for defense, and that's the grade you got, a D.
Right, yeah,
not so good. You know what? The one thing that stands out to me, the one play that is showed in slow motion, and we've talked about it all season long, it's like the parting of the Red Sea. We send Ware and Miller so far around, and you could have drove a semi-bus through the passing lane that Tannehill has, and it's making it easier for them to make those passes. We blitz one freaking time with T.J. Ward. It worked.
How did that work? I was just going to ask you how did that work. Folks, here's another damn stat for you. And believe me, if you have followed Bronco Planet over the years and watched all these shows, the one thing that you can label me as a non-stats guy. But I saw this
stat. Stick to your role.
I saw this stat and just went, what?
Yeah.
And that stat was right now in the NFL, Denver ranked 30th out of 32 teams in blitz packages, where they actually send somebody, whether it's a safety, whether it's a corner, whether it's a linebacker. And when you see that stat, that's not something that I think we should be number one in. But I would sure like to see 15th.
Yep.
18th, even 20th. Something I think
not enough.
And I don't know if they're just relying so much that Von Miller and Demaryius Ware on the ends are going to create so much pressure that they can drop the 7 back and cover the rest of the field. But as we've seen in the past couple of games, all you need is a tight end or a running back to chip either DeMarcus or
and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're slowing down that pressure.
Or push it so wide that by the time you get around, even for as fast as they are, you got rid of it already.
Let me just rewind from last week. Shad had described a few items on the offensive side as a club cracker, as a saltine. It was so bland and blah, and the Broncos defense have actually played a little bit better than the offense up to this point. But when you see what we have available to us, when you see the talent that's around us, and then you see the stats, and then you see the results, and another little courtesy clap for T.J. Ward. We've been waiting for a blitz package to come along. We've been waiting for an interception, which obviously was the game changer. This is something now that I think needs to get focused on the defense, specifically Jack Del Rio. deal. You're the man. You're the guy with the big card in your hand, covering your face, doing this, calling the plays. You have to let your bad men loose. You got to let them pin their ears back. You got a guy like Tannehill, probably one of the most prolific runners, in the NFL. You don't think it, but the guy is
He's a good runner.
Yeah, just made
former wide receiver.
Yeah, just made us look absolutely ridiculous on these types of things. There are other quarterbacks at that kind of pressure that just totally frustrate, i.e. Tom Brady, which we'll probably see later on in the year. Phillip Rivers. How does he react when he gets pressure? Not very well. We're going to see him again. Alex Smith coming up next Sunday. Pressure is a good thing. Jack Del Rio, you need to grow a pair. You need to just wipe the slate clean of this vanilla crap. Stop relying on your two big pressure guys and start bringing some heat, Chad.
No, I totally agree with you, Danny. I hate to always agree with you, but I'm going to take this one.
It's just so weird.
It's really weird.
It's a Thanksgiving holiday that's caused this.
So speaking of thankful holidays, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching us. We don't have time because Danny's got a lot on his mind apparently today. So we're going to skip the prize monkey, and we are going to go right into a calendar by our good buddy Drew Litton. If you haven't been following the Bronx Zoo on Bronco Planet, I mean, some of the greatest stuff. He's got this calendar out. You can go to drewlittonstore.com, drewlittonstore.com, and you can order these bad boys if you want some. Get some for your family, some great Peyton Manning pictures, some that we've had on Bronco Planet, and I mean, Top Gun with Peyton Manning. Great stuff. We're going to give 2 of these away free. Compliments of Drew. All you got to do is go anywhere, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, anything. Tell us something you're thankful for about this Broncos season. We'll pick 2 people. We'll send you a calendar. If you didn't win it, go to Drew's website and order these up. Last year they sold out. There's only like 3,000 made. So make your move, people. Go get it.
Yeah, it's definitely a collector's item, one of a kind. And with that being said, Shad, the one thing that us as Bronco fans have talked about for many, 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 many years is what's going to happen this Sunday night is that going into Kansas City in December is always a tough game. A little bit of a different dynamic this year. We're a different team. The Chiefs are a different team. How do you see this game playing out?
Well, I think we're going to see a handful of C.J. Anderson. I think until they can prove they can stop the run, I think you're going to see a lot of C.J. Anderson. I think Demaryius will get his 100 yards. Sanders will get his 100 yard. I see the Broncos winning a very tight game. It's not going to be easy. It's a night game, national TV. So, yeah,
on the road.
This is important. We get 2 games ahead of Kansas City. We can close them out.
Right.
Hopefully, we got the Patriots going to play Green Bay, so now is our opportunity. Both teams are going to be great football.
I think
both teams going in knowing they have to win this thing. So control Jamal Charles is really the key to beating the Chiefs.
You know something, I wholeheartedly agree. If you get back to being the run defense that you have been for better part of the year, I think this is something that definitely plays into Denver's hands. It's no big secret that Alex Smith and the Chiefs don't really throw down the field a whole lot. Talib a little bit nicked up. This game, I don't think it's going to be as close as you call it. I'm thinking at least 2 touchdowns, but it's also a Sunday night game. National TV away and in Kansas City. Always a big deal. But with that said...
before you close out here, I feel that Danny closeout coming. Just 2 quick things. First of all, right when we were taping last year, they announced that Champ Bailey's coming back for 1 day to sign a contract. So on behalf of Bronco Planet, the best cornerback, and then we've had some great ones, Louis Wright, other ones, Champ Bailey, sure first-time ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Champ, for the memories. And secondly, we are playing the Chiefs. And, I hate to say this sometimes when you're playing a competitor, but, the news on Eric Berry and the mask that they found on his chest. So, sure. Please, prayers to him and his family that everything works out good. Talented, strong safety, and we hope everything goes good there. We hope everything goes good with you and your families. Danny, I've got a turkey bowl happening tomorrow. We play some tackle football, 50-50 shot that I end up in the hospital.
Yeah, I was just going to say Monday morning you're going to see him on the IR with a hammy or a bruised cooter bone.
Yeah, it could be
one or the other. Yeah,
for sure.
So we'll have to see. So until then, hey, happy holidays, folks, and a great Thanksgiving to you. For Bronco Planet, I'm Danny. This is Shad. And we have a new kicker that we didn't talk about, but we'll see how Connor Barth does.
Barth, baby.
Yeah. He's a memorable name.